my fellow comic book collectors. It's Alan, the Comic Collector Geek, and I'm joined with Mark from Suddenly Comics, and we are the Price Variants. That's what we used to call ourselves. It's like we just do the show now, but but we actually used to call ourselves the Price Variants. Um, and this is going to be the hottest Silver Age comics of the week. Should be it's a cool list. It's a bunch of books that I thought, hey, these are pretty cool books. Some of them I was really shocked by the prices, good and bad. So I was like, wow, that seemed a little bit cheap. That one seemed really expensive. That's kind of the way I felt when I made this list. I When I make these lists, Mark always surprises me because I don't know. I'm going in blind in a way, and I never know what the actual numbers will be. I'm just looking at them and saying, hey, that seems like a interesting number for how much this book sold for. And I sort of see if it is true at the end of the day. Like this
Yeah,
is where I
I have
find out
I have to
myself.
say, Alan, you're probably right more often than you're wrong when you guess whether it's up there.
Yeah. Okay. I
Right,
mean, yeah.
shall we take a look at this
Let's
week?
get started. The first one should be interesting.
Yeah, here we go. It's Aquaman.
You know why I picked this? Okay, knowing me, why did I pick this book?
Right. Knowing you, it's because it's got a redhead on the cover.
Sexy girl on the cover. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I like the covers where the main one the character's holding the other like doing the Superman Crisis on Infinite Earths, or the uh um or like this sort of that classic pose of the one character holding another character.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, and especially it's a girl character.
Right. Now, Alan, when I saw this, I got triggered because I do collect the Nick Cardy covers on Aquaman.
And that's the other thing. Nick Cardy's awesome.
Yeah,
Beautiful art.
and this is one of the few I haven't got. So I immediately went onto eBay to see if I
Hmm.
could find a decent copy of this in the UK. Unfortunately, there were two copies in the UK, and they were both about 4 O's, and I'd really like it in a fine. So yeah, this is a very fine, which is nice. So yeah,
Yeah,
great.
I was thinking of picking. I FOMOed myself on this one too. So we have something in common.
Yeah, there we go. Nick Cardy. This is an old slab as well.
Yeah,
I'd be tempted to get that re-slabbed because I don't like that old CGC label.
the old slabs are ugly, actually.
Yeah,
I think. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, there is a danger that you lose a good bit of a grade on it because 8.5 is quite high. I mean, does it look like an 8.5?
Could be.
I don't
This.
know. It's got some wear down here by the staples.
Oh, really? Yeah, I see that. Usually though, back in the day, they graded it even harder.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think you'd be okay.
It looks really solid, actually. It's a
Got a bit of
beautiful.
writing up here.
The writing they don't detract from it because that's the date. That's the date stamp. Like you can only get up to a certain grade with it, but I
That's
think
not
you
a
can
date
even get
stamp. That
more.
says 11/1/5. The date was January 1968.
Yeah, it probably though was 11. It probably actually came 11/1, so November 1 and at 5 p.m. or something like that. Something like that. It's probably because usually the date on the book is like different than the actual date where you get it. Usually the date on the book is when you have to take the book down,
Right. Okay.
right?
Okay.
So it's
All right. Fine.
by the
Anyway,
way, did you notice that there's a like I didn't even notice this, but is that a like walrus, the black thing?
yeah. Now it does say first scavenger, first appearance of scavenger. I don't know who scavenger is. It doesn't say it on the CGC label, but the copies that I was looking at purchasing all said first appearance of the scavenger.
Yeah. I looking at this walrus, but I thought it was a rock.
It's not. It's a walrus.
It's a walrus. But it's so focused on the girl, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. I know. You're more
but
interested in women than walruses.
yes, that's what I've learned about myself. Okay,
Right. So
so
how much is
beautiful
this?
book
So I
though.
think this is cheap. 100. I'd have bought this at
It
100.
seems cheap. It seems cheap to me.
If
That's
I
why I
saw
was.
this copy at $114, I'd buy it.
Yes, me too.
Right.
Actually.
Let's have a look and see.
So
Um,
the 100 on the census. Is that right?
there's only 100 on the census,
Wow.
and
And
it's
look at the colors actually of the thing compared to the one that they're showing. Look how the colors on that aren't that great.
no, they're more faded.
Yeah. So
Uh,
this is a beautiful copy
a
too. I
nice
mean, it just
copy. It's a very nice copy, and it's down, Alan. So this
mm,
peak, this isn't the COVID peak. This is, well, yes, it is. June 2022 is a COVID price.
that's definitely a COVID peak.
Yeah.
That's like right at
So
the
I think we
top of
should
COVID.
ignore the two COVID prices. And if you just take that point there to that point there, you've got a
It's
reasonable.
actually gone up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just ignore the two COVID prices. Actually,
Yeah. So this
this one is not a COVID price. October 2023, 190.
it's sort of like where the COVID like correction period. It's like the
Yeah.
first of the corrections that are happening after COVID.
Yeah. Anyway, I still think that's a very good price for an 8.5 of that comic. You know,
Yeah.
it's a low census count. Nobody reads Aquaman. Um,
Mhm.
the only decent thing about the Aquaman comics and Nick Cardy's covers.
Yeah. I mean, if for people that don't know, the first like 20, 30 issue, like it's like the first that just early run of Aquaman,
Yeah, it's
the
one to
covers are
about
just one
it
amazing
does
cover
end
after another.
somewhere around here at late 30s, early 40s. He stops doing them.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, just amazing covers. This one, I when I saw this, I was like, wow, putting on the list just because I think the cover is so beautiful.
Yeah, it is.
Um,
Right, let's move on to number two. We both like that one, and I haven't got it. I need to find a copy. Right, now then, this is Bewitched. Is this the first Bewitched?
this
Yeah,
is
well,
the first Bewitched. I actually have a copy of this.
that
I
does
paid
look
30.
like my image of Elizabeth Montgomery.
I know this is kind of a terrible, like they just got up in the morning kind of breakfast picture. Like it's like where she's wearing
It
her.
vaguely looks like Elizabeth Montgomery, but I can just about see it.
Yeah.
I used to love this woman. I used to love the Bewitched show. One
Yeah,
of
it was fun.
the
A very
shows.
fun show.
Yeah, and Agnes Moorehead as the sort of she the mother-in-law?
Mother-in-law, yes.
Yeah,
She's a witch too, right?
yeah,
So
that's right. Yeah, that's her daughter.
yeah.
And of course, Dick York is not witchy. He's a muggle.
Yeah, he's a muggle. And I like, she do the wiggle nose thing and
Yeah,
like, it's just it was a very fun show.
it was a fun show. Elizabeth
Um,
Montgomery was very sexy.
yeah. Yeah, yeah. When she was in her full kind of
Yeah, yeah. Hair blonde, not brunette.
yeah. So I don't know. This is not a great cover for the
No,
Bewitched thing, but
no, it's not. But it
but
is the first
uh
one.
but it is the first
159.
one.
That sounds cheap, Alan. 159 for Bewitched 1 in a 7.0.
So I'll tell you how much I paid
How
for
much did
my
you pay?
copy. I paid $30.
Oh, okay. Is yours worth?
But mine is like probably a 4.0. So kind of doing the math, I thought this was in line with that math.
I think it's cheap.
I think this is like I think it should be a $200 book, but Bewitched is one of those series that most people have forgotten, I think. How many on the census?
53.
53. Okay, I can see that I already saw the line. It looks like it's crashing.
So
What's
between 2000,
yeah,
and that's not a COVID price, that's pre-COVID.
and
Uh,
I think I have an explanation too, but okay, go ahead.
okay, it's gone down, it's nearly halved in value.
So I think in the early 2000s, and people in the comments can tell me if I'm wrong on this, but I think there was an attempt to revamp, like to bring back Bewitched.
This isn't the early 2000s, this is 2020.
2020. Well, then I have no freaking clue. I have no idea. I
I
thought
think
there
it's
was like a
similar to what we've talked about before. Some of these old TV shows from the early 1960s that I remember, and you remember some of them as well, although you're younger than me.
yeah,
Uh,
I watched this in reruns.
the people for whom these were nostalgia are dying out.
Yeah. We gotta, we gotta make a campaign and promote Bewitched so that this book can go back up. Um, you know what the funny thing is? This is something I always wondered about that, with the advent of streaming, these shows should get a second life.
It should do, but there's so many options of what to watch, Alan, and so many formats in which to watch it.
But but I don't even know where you could watch Bewitched.
Is it on YouTube? I don't know.
I don't think so. And I don't think you can watch it like maybe you can watch like where it's all segmented on YouTube, um but I don't think you can watch it on like Netflix or anything like that. It's I think if it was put onto like Netflix or put onto some major streaming platform, I think this show could have like a renewed life because it has its classic charm.
It
I
does, yeah.
really do. I'm making a pitch to Netflix executives, buy this video for bring Bewitched back, guys.
Yeah,
We want
Alan will come along as executive producer.
I'll be executive producer all day long. Yeah. That'll be my that'll be my role.
Okay.
Um so yeah, so it's way down. What was that peak price?
Uh, without inflation, 300.
Oof. So almost half.
Halved. Yeah.
Wow. That's kind of brutal. And yeah, I mean, that's the problem with these show ones. Um, what you need in an auction like this is two people that were nostalgic, and then the price will go up, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, when there's not those two people, this is what you get.
Yeah. Fortunately, that is what you get. Okay, let's move on to our third one. Oh, it's we've had this one before. I know this. This is the first Flintstones.
First Flintstones number one. This is actually Dell
No, it's not
Giant.
Flintstones number one. It's Dell Giant 48.
Yes. Yeah. But it's where they it's the first where they had
Yeah.
the Flintstones Bedlam.
Yeah.
Uh,
Flintstones. Oh, it says on here. Why does it say Flintstones issue one, first appearance of the Flintstones, when it's
so
actually
that's what people don't get about Dell. So Dell will do like Dell 4 color, right?
yeah,
Or Dell Giant, right?
yeah,
And this is Dell Giant 48.
yeah.
But what they'll do is they'll actually put the title of the comic as being not Dell Giant. They'll make it like the Flintstones. Okay, so this you see how the title is the
Yeah, yeah. So if
Flintstones?
you look at the trade press,
Yeah,
it's got
you're
equal.
not.
Dell Giants and the Flintstones have sort of got equal billing, haven't they?
Yeah, so they did that in 4 color. They did that with these Dell Giants. So a lot of the time, it'll have that sort of double title in terms of what people will look up. They'll either look up Flintstones number one or they'll look up Dell Giant 48. So CGC is kind of aware of that. It's sort of like if you look at 4 color, what is it? 378. I think that's the right one. Um, that's the first Uncle Scrooge number one.
Okay.
You
Yeah,
know, but it's actually 4 color, blah blah blah.
it's something. Yeah. Okay. Right. So 40, first Flintstones in comics, $216.
This sounds cheap.
Sounds cheap to
I
me as well. I'm sure.
so I used to think this. I think this was at one point, and this book spiked during COVID, by the way. I think it was around that $75 to $100 per point.
Right.
So this is a bit cheap. Well, about half is what I would expect from COVID peak.
Oh,
Actually, even looks like it's down from pre-COVID peak. What's those points?
oh, this peak here is not COVID, Alan. This
What is that peak?
$517 was in February last year.
Oh wow! So it's
Why
way
has this
down
come,
from.
why has this come down from $517 to $217, come down by 60% in one year?
I have no idea. And okay, so what's the point before the spiky point?
November 2023, not COVID either.
Yeah, those are after COVID. Those
The
are
one
actually where
before
the
that
market should be.
is there's the COVID price, $205, $209.
Wow, I thought this was more expensive during COVID. I thought this book had
Now,
spiked during
this
COVID.
grade has not got a COVID peak.
Wow. That's interesting. I was totally wrong on this one. Um,
I
huh.
remember, I think we looked at this, and I think we looked at it when we got that £500, $500 pricing last year.
Mhm.
Um,
And then we made a video about it and killed the price of the book.
yeah,
Wow, that's our influence.
it's our fault, I think, because we keep
That's
showing
crazy.
Flintstones books, and instead of stimulating demand, it's killed it off. It's if those two weirdos are talking about it, we've no chance we're going to.
We basically dump your books, dump your Flintstone books now, kids. Um, so wow, that's
I suppose I
crazy.
have to tell you that that is the third comic in a row. If I'd seen it at that price, I'd have bought it.
Yeah, yeah, no, me too. I think that was actually a reasonable price. I always thought it was like I'm right in terms of where it was. It's a $500 book. I was thinking that $100 per point kind of level. I think that that $500 sale though was an outlier. I think somebody overpaid by a lot at that one. But I
It's
think the
only
previous,
$100 more than the previous price.
yeah, but my point is that I think that previous price is more like the actual price. Now, this current sale, I think, was an outlier low sale.
Okay.
Because if you look at the previous sale before it, it's
Yeah,
like
yeah,
300 to 400.
yeah,
Um, I feel like this is one of those $100 per point books. I think this somebody got a steal on this one,
yeah.
and
I
that can
agree.
happen
It should
too.
have gone for $300.
The problem with these books where they don't really sell that often, this is like a every few months kind of book. You
Yeah,
don't really get all those like dots that are kind of like outlier dots filtering out, and you get that kind of nice little trend line. Um, so I think this was an outlier sale. I think this was not like, oh, the market's crashing. No, somebody got a steal on this book.
yeah, yeah. Some, I
I mean,
agree.
there's only 170 of these on the census.
There is. Hmm.
And Flintstones, even though it is similar to Bewitched in terms of, oh, it's an old thing that people used to watch, it's still a cartoon that people would know today.
No, and there are a couple of films, weren't there, as well, that came out in
Yeah.
the 90s, was it?
Yeah. And they always try to bring it back every so often. So
Yeah.
again, I don't think you can watch Flintstones anywhere. I'm just trying to think, like, people tell me in the comments because I used to love Flintstones. If you
I'm
tell me in the
sure you
comments
must be able to see
where I can go watch it.
Flintstones rerun somewhere on.
Yeah, but it's not on the major streaming ones, and I think that's a mistake. I think they really could leverage this. Like all these old sitcoms and old cartoon series, I think
Yeah,
would be
because
really great.
name me a kid that doesn't like dinosaurs.
Dinosaurs and just the humor.
Yeah,
I mean, the humor, like there was so much visual humor. Like, they would have like, oh, let's take a picture, and they got the little bird and it's like chipping away at the
yeah,
stone.
yeah. And
That visual
these
humor is
wonderful
really great.
square wheels on his cart.
Yeah. Yeah, I just like that, very simple but fun stuff. I always liked when Betty not Betty, but Wilma was like doing the dishes, and she has like just this trunk, like this elephant trunk that she's squeezing to wash the dishes. It's like, yeah, it's a thing.
Didn't John Goodman play Fred?
Yes, he did. Yeah, he actually looks like Fred,
Yeah, he
in my
does.
opinion.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
Right. Okay. Moving on to number
bit of
four.
nostalgia going on here.
Yeah,
Okay.
well, nostalgia for the prices we used to get for comics. It's
Okay,
Batman in
this
pink.
Batman in Pink. This is the Rainbow Batman one. One of the things that actually made this book spike like a few years ago, was that Funko Pops came out with a Rainbow Batman Funko
Right.
that was based on this book.
Well,
And
he's ahead of his time, isn't he? He's sort of doing the he's doing the the rainbow flag.
Yeah, this one's perfect for the month that we're in, actually. So do you know the story behind it?
No.
So in it, Robin breaks his arm.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, which is like this is the the idea behind the story is the lamest and most thinnest thread that they can find. But so basically, they they don't want people to realize that Robin, like uh, Tim Drake breaks his arm, right? So he's going to be wearing a cast. He's going to be kind of like look injured as Robin. He can't take a day off. He has to keep on working as Robin. That's how much of a slave driver Batman is. But to distract people so that people don't realize, make that connection that, oh, Robin's got a broken arm, Tim Drake has a broken arm, therefore that make that identity, you
Right.
know,
So if Batman wears pink, nobody will notice.
exactly because everyone's focused on what Batman's wearing. He's wearing some random color today. He wears a whole bunch of different colors. So, um, yeah,
Holy moly, Batman. What a great plan.
exactly. So it's the thinnest of threads to pull on. Um, so yeah, so this was a 2.5. Actually, what's my grade? I have a copy of
I
this. This
haven't
is
got
a
this. I have not got this. This is another one I've
I
got on.
it's a quirky, silly one. Um, there's like a bunch of these where Batman is dressed up kind of weird ways. There's Batman Zebra, there's Batman, different things, right? Okay, so this is 264. This seems again a little low, but not too low.
146 on the census.
Hmm. It's a fairly rare book.
And it's a record, Alan, because one's never sold before.
Oh, jeez. Okay, yeah, okay. A bit of a bogus record, but we'll go with it. Well, actually, no. There's other sales. Wait, what were the other sales? Go down. Why does it show other sales, but on the chart it
Well,
doesn't?
okay, the one at the top is not the actual comic, it's something else. It's not the
And how
right
much?
comic. Oh, it
How much
is.
did it sell for?
Wait a minute, what's that? $74.
Okay, so it's way up from that sale.
Yeah, but this was after it. This was on the 19th. The one we're looking at was on the 17th.
Okay,
And it was a fixed price eBay sale for
for
$74. The two before it were both five hundred plus dollars, but it was best offer, so they don't put them on the chart.
wow. So somebody got a steal on eBay.
Somebody did get a steal on eBay. Look at that, $74 for a Rainbow Batman in a 2.5.
That's really cheap. I think I paid a couple $100 for my copy. And I think mine's like that 3.0-ish range.
We should be spending our days trawling eBay for bargains like that.
That's crazy. Sometimes people list things really weird way. I don't know what they're doing. Because $74, that's like not that much more than the cost of the slab itself.
It
Yeah, that's
was sold
crazy.
by somebody called the Caped Geek.
Well, they just gave away a book. It's really
It
pretty
was only
amazing.
it's only $200 discount.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It seems a little crazy. So this one is wow. Okay, I'm not even sure what to say about that weird sale though.
Let's have a look at some other sales, Alan. So what
Yeah,
made? Let's have a look at overview. Let's have a look at. Let's have a. What was that? That was a two
that
five.
was a
Let's
2.5, two
have a look
five. And
at
what did it sell for again? 274?
there's a 3.5. Last sale 5.95. So I think that was a good buy at 260,
Yeah.
and definitely a good buy at $64.
Yeah, or $74,
$74.
74.
Yeah.
But actually if you look at the trend line, even though there's that wonkiness every so often it kind of goes some
Yeah.
weird somebody just sells it for no
Yeah.
apparent reason.
Trendline's okay.
Yeah, trend line seems pretty good
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah.
Um and because it's a Funko Pop, I do believe it's part of that culture now. Like it's a cultural phenomena that you have to get it just to go with your Funko Pop.
I've avoided going down that rabbit hole. Right.
Actually, I'd like to have the Funko Pop for this one, tell you the truth, just because it is kind
I
of a
know, but I'm
nice little
sorry,
pairing.
Alan. You can't just have one Funko Pop. Then it starts.
I well, you should see. I already have like my kids collect Funkos. We have like over 300 Funko Pops
Ah,
in
there
this
you go.
house.
I'm entirely right. You can't just have one Funko.
Yeah, you go,
They,
oh, that's a cool one. Yeah, I can see
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah,
They're really smart. Great marketing strategy that company
yeah.
has. Okay.
Right. Okay. Oh,
Oh, no,
what the hell's
that's
this?
it. Oh, no, that's next. That's next. That's going to be the one we're going to discuss on Mark's channel.
Uh,
So if you,
2, 3, 4. No, this is one for discussing on your channel.
oh, got one more. Cool. This is actually a cool book. I was like shocked by the price. I didn't realize it was that expensive, to tell you the truth.
No, why is this expensive? It's not. It's annual number 8. I mean, it's
It's
high
not a
grade.
bad
I
cover.
imagine that's virtually impossible to find in that grade. I mean, it's a
Is it a
square
Dan
back.
DeCarlo cover?
It is Doyle,
Harry Lucy. It looks like Harry Lucy, actually.
or is Dan DeCarlo and Joe Edwards art, and it's a Harry Lucy cover.
Yeah, I thought it was Harry Lucy just by the way that the girls are drawn. He always draws them kind of a little bit cuter, like that kind of like that. If you look at Betty's face, you can see that kind of
Yeah.
cutesy style.
Okay.
That's very Harry Lucy. And he
Okay.
also seems to always give them really short skirts or short thingies,
Yeah. It's
lots
a
of
nice
leg.
cover. And it's in
Mhm.
a high grade. But I still think that price is a bit odd. 456 for annual number 8.
Yeah, but it's really high grade. Like finding these in high grade, I imagine is a real challenge.
Yeah. Okay.
But
Well,
it seemed high to me too. Like that's why I was like, oh,
yeah,
that seems
it's a
like
nice
a
cover, but I mean, annual number 8, $456. Let's have a
yeah.
look. Oh,
I mean,
Alan, I'm completely wrong. That is a low price.
I
Have you deliberately
thought it was a
picked
high price too.
have you deliberately picked all these because they're all heading downwards dramatically?
I don't know. I picked wrong. I thought this was a high price because I was like, wow, that seems expensive.
Not only is it not a high, so the last sale of this was in 2021. It
Okay.
was a
Well, that's
just at the
COVID. That's
start of
true.
COVID, and it sold for 660, and it's now sold
Wow. But
460.
that's a COVID price. I tend to ignore COVID prices, to tell you the truth.
Okay, well, there's only 6 of these graded.
Yeah, that's kind of disappointing in a way. But what are there any other more recent sales that we can kind of
Not the
compare it
same
to?
copy that's been sold twice, is it? What's the code on this? 860012.
I can't imagine there being that many copies of it
No, well,
though.
there's only 6 graded. It's the same copy.
Yeah, I would have guessed. I would have
So
guessed
somebody
that.
bought it in 2021 for $660, held it
And
for
lost.
4 years, and then sold it for $200 less.
Yeah, it sucks. Oh well,
Why would you do that?
I have no idea. Yeah, I mean, I think they overpaid, obviously, originally. This seemed like a high price, even at this price, where it's down. What are some other sales? Like, can we look at some recent sales?
Well, there's only 6 copies of this, Alan, so there's not going to be
Well, there
bundles.
might be some other sales. Let's see. Anything? I don't think so.
No.
This is one of those books that I'm actually surprised that like only you only get it graded at high grades anyways.
Yeah,
Um, actually 8.0 is the highest grade.
it is.
That's interesting.
80 is the highest grade, and there's one of
Is
them.
it? So this is the only copy. This is the highest grade on the
Yeah, but
census.
there's only 6 copies total graded.
Yeah.
There's a 7.5 that hasn't sold since 2018,
And what did it sell for 2018? Geez, that's a long
and it
time.
sold for 580. The 7.5 sold for $585 in 2018, and that wasn't a COVID price.
Oh, that isn't. So actually that COVID price is kind of low. If you think about it, do the math.
Well,
When
660. It's higher than the 7.5.
yeah, no. But there's at the if you have the highest grade of something and then the next
Yeah.
highest grade under it, it usually get a doubling effect, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So you would expect it to be $1,000 book based on that
Yeah.
other sale.
Okay. Well, I have to tell you, I wouldn't have bought this at 400. I wouldn't buy this.
Me either. Me either. I do like the cover, and it's actually one that I'd probably get if I could find it at a reasonable price.
Yeah. If
I
I
would
saw it
totally
for
buy it.
$40 or something in a
Yeah, yeah,
bin
yeah,
somewhere in a 4.0, I might buy it.
yeah. But not at like $400. It's
No.
just not. I just don't. I think it's a cute cover, but it's not at that level. Wow. Okay. So don't ask me to pick comics for you guys, because I suck. Is what the moral of the story is, and I don't know my comics.
So Alan accidentally has picked a trend this week. All these comics have gone slightly down.
These are all the comics that are going down. Um, wow. I'm really sad about this because a lot of these I actually think are pretty cool comics.
Yeah, yeah,
And the Archie,
the first three you showed, I'd have bought at the prices you showed. You showed them at.
yeah. The last one I thought it was a high sale personally, but I didn't realize what it was. I mean, that's something that we could discover as collectors, right? Like we learn these outlier books or these books that we just don't think about. And yeah, but I'm disappointed by my ability to pick good comics. Oh well.
Right, perhaps
If
more
you
luck
want to
on
see
my channel.
more disappointment on my face, and go over to Mark's channel, and you can see 5 more books where I thought I was doing something well. But who knows? Who knows? Maybe I can redeem myself on Mark's channel. So go over and watch Mark's channel.
Okay,
Bye for
bye.
now, guys.